you get your podcasts. Also, would direct you to ESPN.com if you enjoyed Senior Night. More of the stories and tweets that were shared with me from Twitter, that's on ESPN.com. We will be sharing more of those wonderful stories here on SportsCenter in the coming days, weeks, and perhaps even months. Stay safe. We will see you again on SportsCenter. Coming up on SportsCenter, the countdown to NFL free agency is on. Adam Schefter, frankly, is fired up as I've ever seen him on the show. Plus, the first big free agent domino has already fallen. What Ryan Tannehill's deal to stay in Tennessee might mean for Tom Brady. And we celebrate athletes around the country whose seasons and perhaps even careers got cut short. We will be sharing stories with you. We're calling it Senior Night. So, how was the weekend? What'd you do? We're all ears looking for suggestions. Welcome to SportsCenter. I'm Scott Van Pelt. As we navigate the strange sports-free landscape together, we're trying to make the best of it. Speaking of as the weekend winds down and a new and uncertain week begins, at least the sports world will have NFL free agency to discuss. There was uncertainty if the league year would begin on time, but Sunday night, the NFL sent a memo to teams saying the league year will start Wednesday, which means teams can begin talking to free agents as soon as Monday. And we're joined now by NFL insider Adam Schefter. And Adam, how surprised are teams that, given what all these other leagues are doing, we're taking a break here, that the NFL is going to continue sort of as scheduled?
Well, Scott, let's take you behind the scenes a little bit and let's explain some of the reaction that it's created. First of all, the NFL wanted to push back the calendar year with legal tampering beginning at noon on Monday and then the free agent signing period beginning on Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. The NFL Players Association declined to grant that consent because it's a collectively bargained issue and both sides have to agree to that. The NFLPA felt if we push it back, who's to say that this country won't be in worse shape 3 weeks from now? Who's to say that people will be able to fly at that point in time? There could be more quarantines. And so the NFLPA wanted it to go off. Now, I will say this. The amount of furor and anger that this has created around the league, I think, is something that I've never before seen. There are head coaches, general managers, agents, players reaching out who are incensed that the league year is beginning, and they can't understand how countries like Italy and France and Spain are closing down, how every sport in our country is suspending play, basically stopping operations, and free agency is going to go on. Now, I know it's not a sporting event, but their argument is, guess what? Teams are now going to have to get private planes, which include pilots in the air, to fly free agents to buildings. And if those free agents are going to sign with those teams, they're going to want to take physicals because before they invest millions of dollars into a player, they're going to want to send him to a local hospital, which means that they're going to have to take some of the people away from the people that really need hospital workers and help. And they're going to have to perform MRIs on these players so they can sign millions of dollars of contracts at a time where our economy is tanking. And so they don't understand how the NFLPA could allow this to happen. And I had a number of officials say, how could Roger Goodell not step in and stop this from happening? Now, again, a collectively bargained issue, and Roger Goodell would need the help of the NFLPA. But in this particular case, the question that I encountered tonight was, he's the leader of the NFL. Why does he not step in and exert his will at a time when our country is in crisis and it needs leadership in the worst way possible?
Interesting. And also considering the timing of the CBA getting agreed upon, it's amazing that this is the timing of this conversation. There is a significant news piece, this notwithstanding, and that's that Ryan Tannehill gets the big deal to remain with Tennessee, which means that a potential landing spot for Tom Brady is now taken. I'm not asking you where Brady goes. I'm asking Adam, with business continuing as usual, what's the sense of what that time frame might be for him to ultimately make a decision?
See, Scott, let me just say, it's so hard to talk about business as usual when there's other business going on in the country that seems so much more serious. But this is our job. This is our job. And being that the NFL and the NFLPA are going to go forward with it, this is what this week is going to be about for us doing our jobs. I got it. So saying that, I would just say that we are headed into a Monday where, again, amazingly enough, legal tampering is going to be allowed to begin. Teams are going to be allowed to reach out to Tom Brady. I expect there to be multiple teams to reach out to Tom Brady to see how interested he is in signing with another one of them. I think the headline is this, though, Scott. Again, we're in the middle of March. We're about to embark upon free agency. And Tom Brady does not have anything close to a deal in New England yet. Now, I know people think, oh, he's going back to New England. What makes them think that? Why would they think that now when this has been going on since he put the motion into place where basically he voided the contract? There haven't been any substantial contract negotiations. There hasn't been anything that resembles a deal. Why do people think now that all of a sudden, at the 24th hour, something's going to get done that hasn't gotten done in previous weeks and months? I don't understand that. And all these teams now that have been laying in wake, all are going to have their crack and chance at Tom Brady. And I know he's going to be 43, and I know he's not as young as he used to be, but he's still the greatest quarterback of all time. And other teams, for the first time in his career, are going to be allowed to talk to him and try to persuade him from leaving New England. And I think there's a real chance that somebody's going to be able to do that.
Adam Schefter, I appreciate your time. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much. Given all the anger, it's a good thing that Sunday the league was able to announce a 10-year collective bargaining agreement between the league and the players. It passed by 60 votes. More than 500 players didn't vote. Considering the significance of it, it's kind of odd that they would sit it out. Some of the changes agreed upon. Owners now have the right to add a 17th regular season game as soon as the 2021 season, with preseason shortened from 4 to 3 games. Coming this year, the league will add a couple of playoff teams. So now 14 teams will make the playoffs. The only team that earns a bye, the 1 seed. I like that. You're the best team, you get a bye. Also in the new agreement, they will eliminate suspensions for positive marijuana tests, and what I think is significant, discipline cases. There will be a neutral arbitrator now for that. The full details of the new agreement, you can find them in the latest article by Dan Graziano at ESPN.com. To the NBA now, and for those of you that managed to get through the 4 days since the NBA season has been suspended and are wondering how you can endure anymore, I hope you did not see Adrian Wojnarowski's tweet. And I'm paraphrasing here, with the CDC recommendation of no events of 50-plus people for the next 2 months, the NBA increasingly believes and is eyeballing a mid to late June return with no fans as the best-case scenario. And we welcome Adrian Wojnarowski now. And Woj, that's harsh to read, man, and it's sobering. But how quickly over the course of this weekend and with that CDC news has it set in among NBA folks that this is the reality of the situation?
It has set in, Scott, and I filed a story that's on ESPN.com that talks about, even since Wednesday's Board of Governors meeting, which just preceded Rudy Gobert's positive test, that owners and team executives, have further come to terms with how grave this situation is, how dark of a time that our country is likely facing moving forward, and that there's not going to be a quick exit out of it. And teams are preparing, owners are preparing for the idea that at minimally this season may not start until mid-June, late June. And I'm told they are pursuing arena dates, into late August for the playoffs, and even looking at the idea without fans of playing games, maybe even in practice facilities that might make it a little, give it kind of a little different look for television. So everything is on the table with the league right now, and there is a great deal of uncertainty about what lies ahead.
So rather than following with a question about what that would mean for next year, which you obviously wouldn't know the answer to, I guess the best thing that we can do is get through today and tomorrow and see what comes and keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Woj, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
As recently as this past Wednesday, this show figured to be filled with bracket talk. Who had a right to be mad they got left out? Whose path was the most or least favorable? Steve, would I have complained about Maryland seed? No doubt. I don't know what I do. Instead, what we have are memories of tournaments past, your March Madness picks. We will sprinkle in the best moments from this day, this date in tournament history throughout the hour as we go decade by decade, beginning with the 80s.